Very good afternoon to you viewers. Welcome once again to your weekly program in Perspective, a program that is aired on NTN channel 26 on Saturday from 7:30 to 8:30 and on Sunday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. This program is an informative program that brings you information that is taking place in the country. At the same time, we would like to hear your views. What are some of your views on the topical issue and the major issue, the burning issue that are taking place in our country. Also, we would like to hear from you what is taking place in your community and your region so that we can have an interactive session here. With me here this afternoon is a well-known person from Region 5 and 6, a farmer, an RP, a person who have been involved with farmers, fighting for farmers' rights for a very long time, and a member of our party in Region 5, Mr. Mohammed Rafuddin. Rizal, welcome to this program.
Thank you very much.
So in the next hour or so, we'll be dealing with some very topical issues, as I said. Also, we'll be opening our telephone lines, and we would like to hear from you what, as I said, some of your views, what is taking place, the burning issue, what is taking place in the country. And I can begin by saying this evening that almost every single day in our country, we are witnessing scandal after scandal, and corruption now has become ingrained in our society. So let me begin by saying that many Guyanese, or even as a matter of fact, all Guyanese were expecting that we would have had the consequential order from the Caribbean Court of Justice after it would have passed the judgment on last 2 weeks ago. Many Guyanese were expecting that last Monday that the Caribbean Court would have give the consequential order on the judgment that they have made on the 18th of this month. But that was not to be, because those distinguished jurists at the Caribbean Court said that they will rule and they will make those orders on the 12th of July. As a matter of fact, they were very disappointed because to date, as I am speaking here, the president has not called a meeting yet with the opposition leader. Although the opposition leader, Comrade Barjagdeo, wrote to him, said that he's available for a meeting to discuss the appointment of the new chairman of the Ghana Elections Commission. Also, I would like to report here this evening that the chairman of the Elections Commission, Justice retired James Patterson, has since resigned because of the ruling of the Caribbean Court of Justice. That means that we would have to have a new chairman of the Elections Commission. And many persons in all Guyana would have known that that chairman was appointed very in an unconstitutional manner. His appointment was flawed according to the Caribbean Court of Justice. And after we would have challenged it and took it right on to the Caribbean Court of Justice, we have had that ruling where he had to resign. But also the other judgment that they have made, that the no confidence motion that was tabled in the National Assembly on the 21st of December was validly passed, and as such, this government term has expired since the 21st of March. So as I am speaking here this evening, it seems that we don't have a legal government in place. We don't have a government that is legal. We should have had elections since before the 21st or by the 21st of March this year. But to date, we have seen the delaying tactics of this government. They have tried all avenues to say that the no confidence motion was illegal and things like that. We should also remember, Guyanese should also remember in 2014, when the PPP was in government, Nagamutu and Katiyus, they proposed to the National Assembly a vote of no confidence, and the president at that time, President Donald Ramutar, applied the constitutional requirements when he prorogued the parliament and called elections within 6 months. However, unlike 2014, when we had that prorogation of parliament, this time around we have had the debate on the 21st of December last year of the no confidence motion. And you all know by now, viewers, that the no confidence motion 33 three persons voted for the no confidence motion. And then, although the government accepted it that very night when they went to a press conference with Nagamutu and the entire side of the AFPNU, AFC from Parliament, and said that they accepted the ruling and within 3 months Guyana would have to have elections. And then the following day, the president even acknowledges and says that the government, he will abide with all the constitutional requirements. But since then to now, we have seen all kinds of maneuvering, but they are trying to hold on to office illegally. But we have had the ruling now of the Caribbean Court of Justice, and the CCJ said that the no confidence motion was validly passed. And if we apply our constitution to that, or the constitutional requirements, then this government is illegal since the 21st of March. Here I want to bring in my friend here and colleague, Mr. Zai. I know for a fact he has been interacting with farmers in Region 5 on a daily basis, and other people, ordinary workers, farmers, shopkeepers, and things like that. And I want him to tell us here this evening the views of these ordinary people, what they are talking and what they are feeling, and the crisis that these people are being faced with. Right?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mustapha and Honorable MP. Mr. Mustapha, what has been happening, after the CCJ would have ruled that the no confidence motion is valid, we would have seen people face, because I interact with people on a daily basis, not like farmers alone, but people right across Region 5, and I do this, I talk to at least sometimes 25, 50 people
on a daily basis.
And you would have seen this light in people's face. And why? Because they know we're going to have elections soon. And what's the reason they're so happy? Because we continue to see the Granger administration carrying this country and carrying this country down and continue putting so much of pressure on people, ordinary people, more taxes, and whatever they are doing is only benefiting their friends, their crony,
and themselves.
I have seen over the past few days land grabbing in our country.
Well, we will deal with the land grabbing, but let us, from your perspective as a farmer representative and people who have been dealing with farmers, the plight of our farmers now and the working people around this country, because today people are wondering where the next meal will come from, right? People is hardly getting a meal. After 4 years in government, we have witnessed over 35,000 Guyanese who have lost their jobs. We have seen 4 major sugar estates in our country close, where 7,500 sugar workers lost their job. We have seen Barama, where people lost their job. We have seen in other sectors in the economy where people have lost their job. And even the private sector now, because today I was reading the news and the private sector say because of the situation in the country, the business climate is not good. And yesterday, if I could remember, the private sector had a function, and the no less a person than the U.S. ambassador said, Guyana, blackouts, corruption, high taxes, business climate here in Guyana. And that is a diplomat from the United States of America. So you could see people who come into this country are seeing how this country is being run almost every single day in our country. Just now before I came to this program, we have seen I witnessed a blackout took place.
Yeah.
So you could see the standard of living of our country. The hope of our people was dashed by this government. And you have made the point just now, and we get a number of other issues to deal with. But in the right sector, what has been going on in the right sector? Because we know for a fact that people like Nagamutu and Ramjatan, before the 2015 election, came to Barbies, and said that, look, rice farmers will have $9,000 a bag for the paddy, and the most lucrative market that the PPP government had, the Venezuelan market, they lost the market. Even when we used to export rice to Venezuela, they were saying that the farmers was not getting enough money for the paddy. But today farmers is not getting any. So your views on these issues?
Now, Mr. Mustapha, what is happening to rice is very sad, because Nagamotu and Ramdazan came to rice farmers. They went there right across our country, promising rice farmers $9,000 a bag. What they have done for rice farmers after they get into office, they have raised all the taxes. They have removed VAT. We have to pay VAT, remove the concession. We have to pay VAT now. They have moved the land charges from 3,500 to 15,000. They have thrown away the most lucrative market that you have said, like you have said there, the Venezuela market. And you know what has happened recently, and it's not come out as yet? The second market after the Venezuelan market used to be the Panama market. And we have just lost, from information that I have received, we have just lost the Panama market.
So how do rice farmers produce to sell the produce?
We have just, I understand there was a change in government in Panama. This government didn't go across there to continue the arrangement. The new government in office just pushed the whole arrangement aside, and I got it from confidential source, and right now they are importing paddy from the US.
Okay.
Right? So Panama used to be the best market for us presently, because we have lost the Venezuela market. So this government is doing nothing for rice farmers. Look, we just came out from a crop, last crop, very disastrous crop. We're asking the government at least do something to cushion the effect of what farmers have gone through last crop. Farmers have lost 50, 60, 70% of their crop because of paddy bug. Right? We are asking the government to analyze the chemical, do an analysis, test these chemicals that is coming into this country. This is only falling on deaf ears. Nothing this government is doing for rice farmers. In Region 6, the channels, they would have taken the channel from the region, giving the channels to NDIA. They are not maintaining these channels. Rice farmers, they are facing the blunt of everything.
So the drainage for these farmers, they are not getting drainage, proper drainage.
Most of these drainage systems in Region 6, especially in Blackbush, they are clogged. Farmers can't get the water out, and we're still in the rainy season. Farmers can't get the water out from the field, and this is going to negatively impact the rice crop.
You know, it's a very important point you made just now about these outfall channels. Not only the outfall channel, because when we had the debate, the budget debate in Parliament, and we were going through the estimates, in Region 6, $376 million was budgeted for the clearing of these canals, internal canals, the cultivation canals. And I asked the minister, both Minister Holder and the guy from the Minister of Communities, Bulkan, asked them that would the region execute these contracts? And he said in one certain, both of them said in one certain term, yes. They told me, and even Holder said, what have been working well, they will not change. Bulkan said that the contract will remain in the region. Lo and behold, I spoke to the regional chairman, the regional vice chairman, and they are saying that the NDI is demanding that they hand over these canals to them. Now these people are in Georgetown, but besides that, a number of small contractors who are living in the area used to earn a living through these canals. Now they are taking away these canals from these small contractors, and they will give their own people living all over the country. So if a man living in Linden, or a man lives on the east coast or the west coast of Demerara, and he has a canal in Crabwood Creek or Blackbush Polder, how would that man maintain that canal during the month?
And it would have been better for someone locally
To get it.
to get it. All I see this government is doing, Mr. Mustapha, they cares nothing about agriculture, they cares nothing about this entire country. All they cares about for themselves and friends.
Right. And you mentioned about the land issue. So I know there is a number of other issues with land around the country. But specifically for Region 5, if you could enlighten our viewers, what is taking place at the MMA area there, how land, as you mentioned that, and I spoke on the motion in the National Assembly, when they took the motion to increase the rental of lands in the MMA scheme, and I spoke against it. I said that this will be a burden on our farmers, that our farmers will be unable to pay these fees, and leaving out all these VATs and agriculture machineries and chemical and what the case is, that the cost of production will go up and the farmers will be unable to sustain this sector. So let us hear what is taking place in the MMA scheme for viewers around the around Region 6, Region 5.
Well, Mr. Mustapha, what is happening in MMA, viewers would have already know about some, and I will still highlight them. One of the issues is lands have been taken away from farmers who this land, their grandparents had these lands, and that matter is in court. The land was taken away and given to people who doesn't know anything about cow, who doesn't know anything about farming, doesn't know anything about agriculture, don't even have, some of them don't have any cattle. And yet this government has seen it fit to take away land from farmers who are being there, developing these lands, making an honest, decent, proper livelihood, throw them aside and give to their friends and their cronies, because this set of people, you don't want them there. You want to put the set that you want to put there. But that is in the media and the public domain already. But only recently I have understand that the MMA have issued land to some of their friends. There is a place on going up to the MMA Conservancy. The place is called Horstellin. And the board, I understand, has approved 8,000 acres, while our opposition leader few days ago was highlighting all that is happening around the country. But MMA have approved of 8,000 acres. To some people, with the understanding that when they develop this 8,000, they're going to get an additional 8,000. Isn't this unfair?
So who had those lands before?
They are all state land, and their application there in the system for many years asking for a piece of land, whether to do cash crop, some other crop, livestock, or something else pertaining to agriculture. But then they see it fit. The chairman of MMA, he got 11,000 acre land somewhere up, I understand, somewhere up the Myconi River. Right?
The sharing of the land is right. Himself.
So this is what this government is doing. And if this is only their friends and crony, a few people that is getting the benefit, while every other Guyanese, they are entitled to this country and the benefit that this country can give to them. But this is not happening.
So as you are on the land issue, and you mentioned that the opposition leader, general secretary of our party, has made some very damning revelation a few days ago. And if you could go around, if you could look around what is taking place in our country, it seems that they are now parsing out Guyana, giving in to their friends and families and their cronies, as you rightly said. 8,000 acres in the MMA have gone to their people. Now, last Thursday, when the opposition leader had his press conference, he not only talk about it, he showed it on map, he called the file numbers,
Exactly.
and he gave all the evidence about the land grabbing that is taking place in this country. Imagine in this country, a few persons, about 5-6 persons, have been given thousands of acres of prime land. In another, about less than a year from now, according to announcements that were made earlier, Guyana will be a country that will produce oil. Now these lands were given out specifically to their friends so that they can make millions, even billions of US dollars, because these are prime land that will be needed when oil production commences shortly, right? And I just want to highlight some of the land that were given. For example, one of the guys working at the Ministry of the Presidency, that is the Office of the President, he was given land in Linden, 12 acres at a place called Dalawala. That area was proposed for a deep water harbor in Region 10. Now that the entire area that was proposed for that deep water harbor was given out to this guy working at the Ministry of the Presidency. Now, the other thing, 80 acres. He also received 80 acres in Bohemia. Bohemia is a place where CGX plan to have a deep water harbor there. That is another proposed site for a deep water harbor. 80 acres. So tell me something, viewers. You judge it. When these guys who receive these land get title, and big companies come to Guyana and they want to put down wharf and other facilities, these lands will be rented or sold to these companies so that they could put down. Who making the profit? Who making the money? Not for the Guyanese. That money wouldn't go to the coffer of the government. That money wouldn't go to the coffer of the treasury. That money will go to individual persons. So they're giving these things, they're giving these land out for people to enrich themselves. There's another employee of the department, a senior person who is affiliated to them with the Department of Environment. She received 4.5 acres at Lindendal on the east coast of Demerara and 112 acres in Bohemia Region 6. I have here the file number and the map, right? So Bohemia is a very, very important area for us in Region 6. An area that has been identified for a lot of development to come when we have oil production, when oil production commence. But these lands were given out to their friends, to their cronies, and these people will be making endless money with these land. Also, another company that was involved in this whole parking meter in Georgetown, they got 20 acres schoolyard foreshore. Imagine if foreshore this government give out, right? In the Demerara River, proposed site for shore-based facility. When I'll come for shore-based facility, I have the file number. Another 20 acre good fortune in Region 3 in the Demerara River. Another proposed site for a shore-based facility. And 50 acres at best foreshore in Region 3. So in the shoreline now, these people giving out all the waterfront. A big official of Asara, right, that fall under the Ministry of the Presidency, he has 10 acre Linden Susdek Highway in Region 4, and he got another 1 acre in Region in Mocha. Another guy from the Asara, he has a 1,000 acre in the Essequibo River, and another 1,000 acre in the Demerara River. So these, you could see how much land that these people have given out. And then the big official of GCOM, we all know him. He has 216 acre Millie's hideout in Region 10, and another 2 acre Mocha on the east bank of Demerara. So these lands are given out to individuals who are supporting and who are part of this government. Imagine you work with the Guyana Elections Commission and you take in favor from a government, wouldn't you compromise yourself, compromise the process that has to take place? And yesterday, when the CEO of the Guyana Lands and Survey Commission had a press conference, he didn't address these issues directly. His address was to say how former President Jagdeo had those documents that he will call in the police. Why he didn't say that he should call in the police and the agency?
Exactly.
How these lands were given out? What system, what method were used? There are 54,000 applications that are lying at the Ministry of Housing for ordinary people to receive house lot, and they are not getting it. But these people can get lots. When the PPP, and I am saying when the PPP government gave land, we gave land for place where we could create employment. For example, Movie Town and the right at Lindendal, Torkine. Hundreds of Guyanese now are employed at Movie Town. The Giftland Mall, where we give land there. See how many businesses went up there, how many are enjoying employment there. Texella American University. Hundreds of students are going to that university, right? So when we give land out, we give land to create employment, land to develop our country, land to make bring in benefits to the people of our country, unlike individuals who receive these lands. So you could see the scandal in 4 years. In 4 years, this government is parceling out our country, right across our country, giving out lands to all their friends, cronies, and people who are backing them. Now, some of these lands, some of these titles were issued after the no confidence motion. Imagine a government is illegal. You have a no confidence motion in effect. We were supposed to have elections in our country. Rather than to abide with the Constitution and be a caretaker government, because the Chief Justice, when the no confidence matter was heard in the High Court, the Chief Justice said that on the night of the 24th of December, when the no confidence motion was successfully passed, automatically the government stand resigned. The government became a caretaker. They have to function in a caretaker mode. What this government has done over the last 6 months, they are giving out our lands, they are taking legislation and other motions to Parliament, they are going to Parliament for more money from the Treasury. So all these illegal acts that they are doing it because they are doing all these acts because this government now is illegal. This government is illegal, and while they are illegal, they are going and doing things that will have severe implication on the future of our country. That's the issue with this government. They don't abide with our Constitution. They don't respect our Constitution. Our Constitution is a very sacred document in our country. When a government goes against the Constitution, when a president goes against the Constitution, then our country will become a dictatorship. The president will become a dictator, and he running the country like he running it with a decree. You understand, like a king. That's the way. That's the way he's trying to run in our country. So, Zai, with those issues, I want to come back to the main issue that is taking place in our country. 2 things. And that is the appointment of a new chairman of the Elections Commission and a date for general and regional elections. Viewers, this afternoon, the opposition leader received a letter, or Mr. Shearer, who is our chief whip, received a letter on behalf of the opposition leader from Joseph Harman, who is now the Director General in the Ministry of the Presidency. Now the Constitution says, Article 161(2) of the Constitution says that the leader of the opposition have to submit to the president 6 names which is not unacceptable, and from those names the president will have to select or appoint a person to be the chairman of the Elections Commission. We can remember before or prior to the appointment of Patterson, the illegal appointment of Patterson, the opposition leader would have submitted to Granger 80 names to be chair for people who have integrity, people who are active, people who have experience, people who will be fair to be chairman of the Elections Commission. All 3 lists of 6 persons were rejected by the president, who said that those people are not fit and proper. He went and he unconstitutionally appointed Justice retired James Patterson, who is 84 years old, to be the chairman of the Elections Commission. We challenged it in the court. The matter reached to the CCJ, and we all know now that the appointment was deemed unconstitutional and flawed by the Caribbean Court of Justice. Now, last week, Monday last, or Tuesday last, I believe, Patterson resigned. So we have to have a new chairman. The opposition leader have written to the president saying that he's prepared to submit to him on a list of persons with integrity, and he's prepared to meet him on a daily basis, because this is a very, very important appointment. And the Caribbean Court of Justice had ruled that both the leader of the opposition and the president should meet urgently, discuss in good faith, and have an appointment made for chairman of the Elections Commission. Our leader, the president, the former president, the general secretary of our party, he has written, as I said, and indicated his willingness to reach on a daily basis until an appointment is made for the chairman. Today, this afternoon, Ms. Teixeira, who is the chief whip, received on behalf of the general secretary a letter from Mr. Harman saying that the president wants to submit names. The president wants to submit the Constitution, Article 161(2) of the Constitution says that the list of 6 names shall be submitted by the leader of the opposition, which is not unacceptable to the president for him to make an appointment. Now, the Caribbean Court of Justice, they have directed both parties to reach. But then today, if you look at the news, the president is saying that he wants to make appointment and he wants to submit names. Who is submitting names to himself? He's submitting names to himself. Again, he wants to go against our Constitution. The constitutional authority is for the leader of the opposition has to submit the name, not the president. We have had this issue, we have had these the formula that was proposed by President Carter, former President Carter of the United States in 1990. We have had that proposal enshrined in our Constitution when we had constitutional reform in 2000. That was placed in our Constitution, so that become part of our Constitution. So the honor is on the President to submit to the leader of the opposition to submit to the President 6 names. The President is saying, I don't know if these guys if the President don't get proper legal advice from his legal people, but that is the duty of the leader of the opposition. So you viewers, you should make your own judgment. You should make your own judgment. This is the kind of way that this government is flouting our Constitution. They are making all kinds of flimsy excuses just to keep themselves in power. So that is our whole talk on these issues.
Well, now first, Mr. Mustapha, our president, as how I'm seeing it, and every other Guyanese, I sure will agree with me, the president is trying to fast track this whole process and thinking he's already the leader of the opposition if his party allows him to be the leader of the opposition, because the constitution says, the laws of this country says, the opposition leader submit the names, not the president. But Mr. Guerrero probably is feeling already he's on the opposition side, which that is a couple of days more he's going to be there. But that's on the joking side. But I think Mr. Granger and his team continue to let the international community, Guyanese and international community, laugh at us, because it is clear no confident motion is valid. The CCJ said that no confident motion is valid. If the no confident motion is valid, and then they said clear, Article 1066 and 1067, by now every Guyanese know Article 106 and 1067.
Yeah.
Every Guyanese know what this is. The government resigned, and they're there for the purpose of the election that should be held in 90 days. In regards to the GCOM chairman, the GCOM chairman was appointed in a illegal way, unconstitutional way, that they shouldn't. Now the GCOM chairman is gone. The leader of the opposition is supposed to submit 6 names, that is his rights, his constitutional right. The constitution gave him that authority to do that. So the leader of the opposition submits 6 names, and the president take one from the 6. And it's something that's
very simple.
Yeah.
Even school children will understand these things, but it seems that this government don't understand that they don't want to go to an election because they know the outcome of an election now. They know an outcome because a few weeks back I saw the president say that he got 94% of the people in Guyana supporting him. If 94% of the people are supporting him, why you don't call an election immediately? Well, that is what they have said. You understand? That is what they have said. You should call an election immediately and say that, he should say that this here, he will go to an election. Yes. He will go to an election. So I don't see the point the president keep saying that, all these flimsy excuses. Then one of the other excuses, I want to deal with this point before we move more line. I will ask you back your view on it. They say they are peddling misinformation to the public. Now let us see. They say that before people who would have reached 18 and who are 80 years and did not vote in the last election, they will not be on the voters list, which is a lie. That is a misinformation. That is a lie. We have had election in 2015. We haven't had house registration. We have had 2 local government elections. We haven't had house registration. They are saying, the government, the president and the entire government, they are saying that before someone's name can be on the voters list, that you have to have house-to-house registration. That's a lie. That's a blatant lie. They want to throw sand in the eyes of the Guyanese people. They feel that the Guyanese people are stupid, that they will believe what they are saying. Now let me explain this entire issue. In 2008, we had house-to-house registration. After that, the parliamentary parties, after those house-to-house registration would have completed and we had elections and so, the parliamentary parties decided that house-to-house registration is not necessary anymore, that they will start a process called continuous registration. Continuous registration will have to be done by GCOM 2 cycles per year. 2 cycles. Now whenever GCOM conduct a continuous registration, they have a qualifying date. So for example, if a continuous registration would start today, then GCOM will have a qualifying date in October, around October. So those young people who will be 14 years of age and over by October the 31st of this year, they will be entitled to register. So they will have offices right across the country, and these young people from 14 years and above will be registered. So since this government got into office in 2015, we have had 3 cycles of continuous registration. 3 cycles, and you viewers will know this, what I am saying. You will know because your child or your children who did not vote in 2015 because they were young would have voted, some of them would have voted in 2016 at the local government election or for the first time, or some of them would have voted in 2018 at the local government election. Those young people who would have voted in those 2 elections, or even those young people who would have voted in the 2015 election, GCOM didn't do a house-to-house registration to capture them. They were registered because of the continuous registration, the exercise that normally conducts at the office, where the young people just go and get an ID card before they reach 18 years. So when they register, when GCOM register these young people, 14 years and above, they just put them on a register you call the National Register of Registrants. Now, as these people come of age, for example now, election is held this year or in next month. Now, all those 18 years and above, their name will be extracted from the National NRR, the National Register of Registrants, and placed on the official voters list. So every year GCOM will extract people who will be 18 years and over and place them on the voters list. So we have a list that is always active. Now, the president, Mr. Granger, is saying that 200,000 people are fake names on the list. So if we have 200,000 people who are fake on the list, then he was elected illegally because illegal person voted for him.
Exactly.
Illegal person voted for him. So these guys, when they speak, they are not speaking with, probably they don't think and talk, they just speak what comes out of their mouth, like that. Right? Now, they say there are a number of dead persons on the list. Well, if there are a number of dead persons on the list, we have a law in this country, in the National Representation of the People Act, that captures all the issues with registration of voters and registration of persons. If you check the Registration of the People Act, they have a law in that act that says that the only authority to remove people's name is the Guyana Elections Commission. And how the Guyana Elections Commission can remove people's name? If they are claiming that people died, that the GRO is another agency of the government. They who normally produce these death certificates, they have the records there. And they have to submit on a monthly basis to GCOM those persons who would have died, and then GCOM has now received from the GRO's office a document to show the number of persons who have died for that month or died for a period of time. Then GCOM has an authority to take out those names from the voters' roll. That's the way, that's the law that governs election in our country. But it seems that the PNC and the APNU and the AFC, if they don't know or they're just playing, they don't know just to hold on illegally to power in this country, illegally to government. So there is no need for a house-to-house registration. We had a valid voters list up to the 30th of April last. That list had since expired since the 30th of April. Now, we can have that list alive again as long as we have a short period of continuous registration and claims and objection. Claims and objection, if you got thousands of people whose names are not on the list, they can go during that process and have their name, make a claim to have their names on the list. They can go and register. People can go and do correction. People can go and do transfer. People can go and object to somebody's name on the list if that name is a fake name. So all those things can be addressed by claims and objection. But as usual, this government, they don't care. They know the right thing, but they are not saying it because they play with time. A house-to-house registration will take 9 months. You start a house-to-house registration now, you end till next year by May of next year, right? Or April next year. So they're playing for time, and they want to remain in office illegally and continue the corruption and give away Guyana, right? Continue the corruption and give away Guyana. When you go out there, the vast majority of the population is suffering. People now are finding, as I said, very difficult to survive in this country. People are finding it very difficult. I want to open our telephone lines. Before I open our telephone line, I will give back the Zai some time to deal with some other topical issue, and then I will open the lines. The operator will put the number on your screen so that you could call. Let us be very civil and let us deal with issues. Zai.
Thank you very much, MP. You know, I think you have done a wonderful job here. For let our viewers understand how the house registration is not necessary, and all this government is doing is fooling its supporters, buying time to stay in power illegal. A person become 14, they have 4 years more to vote, and from the time they register, by the time they're ready to vote, the name is going to move from the register to the voters list.
Right.
Same thing with Mr. Granger is saying we have 200,000 illegal people on the list, and most of them are dead people. It is their responsibility to ensure, just like to highlight a point here, to remind our viewers when someone died, and all of you would have had someone that would have passed away. That document that you would have to do at the hospital and get the registration of death and to get the certificate. You can't take that to a GCOM to take the name off the list. There is a government agency that is responsible for this. So how can you blame the opposition? How can you blame the PPP for that and saying you have 200,000 names that need to come off the list? You are the agency, you are the people that is responsible to take these names off when people pass away. Then what you're waiting for if you have people that is not around? So I think you have dealt with that topic very well, and I think we should give our comment.
So the line is going, let us be very civil, as I say, deal with issue rather than personality, and let us say what is taking place and your views on the issue that we have to talk about. Hello, good evening, caller. Hello.
Good night.
Good night. Speak up a bit, please.
Yeah, I call you from Blackbird.
Blackbird, yeah.
Is there any accident?
Well, the point is that I can't say offhand, but only the president in this country is, you can't carry the president to court and things like that. He had but the other day we saw Justice Priya Sinaran Bihari. She issued a contempt order against the Minister of Finance and say that the Minister of Finance should be jailed for 21 days for not paying up the money that the government owed DIPCON. They have since appealed that matter, and let us see what the matter. Yes, a member of the cabinet can be jailed. Okay, thank you. Good. So caller is now frustrated.
They're frustrated.
Calling on, that the government should be jailed. Hi, good evening, callers.
Good evening, Garage.
Good evening.
This question is you come to your
Well, yes, CCJ resigning, but the guy has been faced after the ruling of the CCJ, he was still in the GCOM office in Georgetown.
That's right. Right.
So yes, he's out now.
This president, this commandant, he is the president of this country. What kind of that is law and order?
Well, yes, you're right.
It's not the law.
Yeah.
I can tell you why. The business is on the army and the state on his side.
Okay.
It's a believe it.
But we must be careful that this is not long ago. The army and the police wouldn't take their side. A lot of army and police are saying that they are fed up with the situation in the country.
Yeah, this is why he's above the law.
Yeah.
This man is above the law.
Okay.
But you know what he say? He wants to recopy the Constitution.
Well, we will have to fight, continue the fight so that he will not be a
He
dictator.
has to go on.
Right,
And
thanks.
CCJ will have to know.
Yes.
If they have to remain in office, what was the use of the no confidence motion?
Yeah, that's the point.
Right.
Right? That's the point. So let us wait and let us be optimistic on the 12th of July when the CCJ will be making those consequential orders.
If they got to remain in government and do all that teaching all the time going on, what is the use of the no confidence motion?
Right, all right. So let's
could have done it if they had a no confidence motion.
yeah, so let's wait on the 12th of July.
Let them root him out.
Okay.
Okay?
Thanks for the call, eh?
Good, brother.
Good. So it seems you can see the frustration of callers when they call in. You know, people are disgusted.
Yeah.
People are fed up. Yeah, you understand? You could see the frustration with callers calling. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. PPP, I'd like to give you people $1,000.
You want to give? Hello. See, we have lost that call, but if I understood the caller well, she's saying that she wants to make a donation to the PPP of $1,000.
Okay.
Well, if anyone who wants to make a donation can go to the party's office at New Amsterdam and they'll receive a receipt there when they make a donation. Hello, good evening.
Hi, good night, Mr. Ruby.
Good night.
You know what Mr. Granger needs to sit down as a pensioner, you know, he needs to rest.
Uh-huh.
And you see the finance minister passed budget in this country and them are illegal.
No, they're illegal. They can't pass. You know, he always bluff his way. This man is always bluffing. He's saying that.
Yes, but them take this country make joke.
Yeah, well, we have to deal with it. When we get back, when we take it back, we'll have to deal with it.
Normally, I used to watch TV and you watch what's going on in this country.
Mm-hmm.
And really take this country and make a joke.
Yeah, the entire world is laughing at Guyana now because of these people.
Because you go on in this place, no confidence motion pass, all them things that were them at the giveaway, all the people them land. We apply for land since 2002 and up to now, when I get thrown, we see the man is applying for land within 1 month or 2 months. And
they get it, giving the land after the no confidence motion.
Then they have to fill the packet.
Well, that's the point. We were saying this all the time.
Because they get the demand that drag money, free money from government, then supposed to go on away.
Yeah, well.
But them supposed to live, them supposed to go next country anytime.
Yeah.
They're supposed to go on away.
All right, thanks for the call. Yeah, I see.
Then I think about the young generation.
I think we're young people. Then you know, now they're coming back. When they heard about the no confidence motion and election, they're coming back and say how they're going to improve young people's life.
No, they don't improve nobody like them, like they want to improve them life, so that they're living along.
Well,
70 years, the man is supposed to go, now they must need to do it.
yeah.
And they want to run Guyana, they want to run to do it.
Yeah.
Guyana got nothing in between with them.
Okay, thanks for the call, right?
Huh?
Mr. Thanks for the call.
Alright, thanks.
So the caller, it seems you could see people now are very fed up with this.
Yeah, and people understand what they're doing, right?
People are fed up. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
How are you people?
Okay.
The PPP are delinquents.
Okay. Why? Why you say that? Why you say that?
Because Granger is in the city for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
He's done better job than you.
Well, that might be your view, but you hear the majority of the caller what they said, right? The majority, probably you enjoying the good life of Granger giving. You understand? So, anyway.
Yeah. They'll have their friends and cronies.
Well, you know, when you make a statement, you have to have evidence, and you know.
I'm wondering if there's a mother who still have to send their child to school.
Hello, good evening.
Hello?
Hi, good evening. Your life on.
Good night, Mustapha.
Good night.
I just called to ask that if you can remember that Trotman said this country had no land. The land was given out.
Pardon me?
Trotman said just days no land in this country to give out to anybody because the PPP already give out all the land.
Yeah, there you go. He said that, right?
And all everybody. So they are saying that these guys giving out now. I don't want to use the manufacturing them.
Well, that's the point. You could see these guys. You know, every time they open their mouth, it's just lies and misinformation.
That's a matter of lies.
Yeah, lies and misinformation.
And with Mr. Granger talking about he want to select names, maybe misunderstand the opposition.
The role, he misunderstood his role as the president, and he wants to be the opposition leader.
He misunderstand the role that he has to play.
Yeah, that's the point, you know.
The CCJ had specifically outlined to him that the choosing of the GCOM chairman is a consensus process.
Yeah, but the name has to be submitted by the opposition leader.
I believe that consensus process gives him the right to choose who he wants to choose.
But probably, brother, the man is preparing to be the opposition leader.
Well, he's got a lot of good time to prepare. He can call it tomorrow or any other day.
All right, thanks very much for the call.
Yeah.
So viewers, we will be taking 2 other calls. I just see the operator signal me that our time is up, and then we'll close our program. We have lost that caller. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
This target of a salary penalty now or spend a lot of life.
What is it here? Who wants to channel
Palestinian Ramjatan
those are the corrupt cabal, you know, the corrupt cabal. Ramjatan, that guy is so arrogant, he should go and control the crime that's taking place in this country. This afternoon, let me just tell you all, this afternoon at 2 o'clock this afternoon, Gao President Komachan, they invaded his house and beat up his children, them. Chop up the boy, the daughter and so. Ramjatan and he didn't body save campaign. Yeah. So that's the guy. 2 only just now received a call.
They try to get some fix, but we don't make sure that we're none.
Yeah, them guys there. That's
so far, it was reason.
Yeah, them chaps, when they come around, you always ignore them, you know, they're coming back to people. Thanks very much for the call. Viewers, we will be taking one last call and then we will close our program for this evening. Tomorrow you can get us on channel, you can look at channel 10, the Rock Television. We will be having this program live again from 5 to 6 p.m. Hello, good evening.
Good night, sir.
Good night.
The incident with these children who vote, and I like what you do there, but some of the kids that my kids but for the first time in the local government election.
Right.
What you're talking about the list is so true.
It's true, right?
We need to look at that.
Yeah, that's the point.
People who vote for the first time. My dad is one of them.
Right, and did I come to your house to register her, right?
No.
Right, that's the point. You understand? So this is a fact. This is a fact. But you know, these people are just want to delay and continue illegally in government. You understand?
Our president mislead the nation by
that's the point. And imagine if a president misleading the nation, what you know how that will go down.
He's causing corruption among the young people.
Yeah, that's the point. And he's creating mayhem. You want to create mayhem. You want to incite people, and he's telling them the wrong things. You know. Thanks for the call, right?
Thank you.
Good. So if you are here, we will have to leave you. Before I close this program, I'll ask my colleague, my comrade Zai, to have his final say. And then, as I said, tomorrow you can look at Little Rock Television from 5 to 6 p.m. We will be there once again live, and we can continue the discussion. Zai?
MP, in wrapping up, I would like to just remind while our viewers and young people that someone called there reminding us that the cabal is in Berbice every Saturday night preaching lies. I would like to remind the viewers something that they have already known. A minister of our government or the former government, because they have the no confidence motion have resigned them, they have received over $20 million right?
Right.
And they're claiming that is for scholarship. A scholarship, that's not a procedure and process for a scholarship. And our young people, who they would have promised jobs, who they would have promised reduced fee at university, they would have promised a better life. I would like the young people and the viewers in general to analyze some of these situations that all this government is thinking about is about themselves, their friends, and their crony. They think nothing about the people who would have voted for them and put them there, right? That is why, I bring this up. So in my closing remarks, that the viewers can understand what they are about.
So, Fly, let me thank you very much for coming all the way from West Coast of Barbeef. I know for a fact that you will not only be on your own program too, dealing with rice farmers and other issues. But I want to reiterate the point that you have made, that these guys start to come back again every Saturday night. Remember, before the 2011 and the 2015 elections, Nagamutu, Ramjatan, Patterson, Cathy Hughes, and all of them used to come there every Saturday night. They start to come again to make promises, to fool people, feeling that people are stupid. Ask Ramjatan, call him, viewers, you should call him now and ask him the 7,500 sugar workers who have lost their job. How many of them are re-employed? How many of them, how the sugar workers have to struggle through the union and through the PPP for them to get their severance pay? Ask that guy, ask him what he's doing with the crime situation in the country. Ask him what he's doing with the corruption that is taking place and plaguing the guy in the police force. Ask Patterson. Ask Patterson what he's doing with the infrastructure in this country. Ask him about the airport, how they change up the contract. Yesterday in the Kaichur News, or last Thursday in the Kaichur News, the original contract had in-transit area in the airport. There is no in-transit area in the airport anymore. Ask Patterson what he did. Ask him about the feasibility study of the Demerara Harbour Bridge. Those are the things we should ask them. We should come with answers. They're coming again to fool. They're feeling that Guyanese are stupid. That they feel. They feel that they will come again and people will vote for them. But if they believe and they have the confidence, they should call an election now. They should call an election now. People now want to vote. People are very eager. Not only in Baudis, not only in regions 5 and 6, but across Guyana. I have traveled the length and breadth of this country, and people are very eager now to vote them out of government because they have pilfered the treasury. They have made Guyana one of the fastest or one of the best country in the Caribbean. When we had the financial crisis, Guyana was the only shining light in the entire Caribbean. That was said by Ralph Gonzalez from St. Vincent, the Prime Minister. Today, Guyana is ranked almost like Haiti. Guyanese are out with jobs. Those people who got them 5-year, who have them 10-year tourist visa, go in America and try to work a 3-4 month. Now the American authority give the people them 2-week and 3-week stay. So you could see all over Guyanese are being pressured. In your own country, you can't be safe and work. So viewers, all these issues, I want to appeal to you. Let us continue, put the pressure on them, support your party. I know for a fact that we will continue to put the pressure. We must resist all attempt for them to flout our constitution, to go against our constitution. We must always put the pressure for them to work with the constitution. So, and I encourage you to ensure that whenever the PPP has a public forum, you all come out and listen to these views. Whenever the PPP has a program, you all listen to views from various leaders of the PPP so that you can know what is taking place in your country. So until next week, this is your host saying goodbye. I want to thank you for having us in your living room. I want to wish you a pleasant week ahead. I want to wish you a pleasant and peaceful evening until the next week. So long.